Alright.
Alright, what? You think I'm going to tell about me missing on camera? Huh? When you didn't get it recorded, you think I'm going to tell about missing on camera?
I looked up there and saw that red thing in the corner. I just knew it was recording.
You honestly believe that I'm going to tell everybody that I missed and when you didn't record it? But I did. We pulled up here and stopped, got out of the truck talking about the wind being wrong, and I looked out and there was a coyote. Well, I had my wood 60 mouth call around my neck, so I grabbed it up, went to blowing on it, and the coyote turned, and he was coming right towards us, but the way the wind was, we was afraid to let him get any closer. And I just couldn't get a good rest here on this deal, and all the excuses in the world, but I missed him. So.
And all that footage of him coming into that cause.
And Bill didn't turn the camera on. I can deny all of it.
Yeah.
Well, one thing about it, I've been using electronic calls so long, I kind of quit using mouth calls, but I still can call one in with a mouth call.
You sure did.
I proved that, but my cameraman didn't turn the camera on.
He sure didn't. I'm gonna kick his butt too. Right here?
Yeah.
I am recording now.
You are?
Yeah.
Going down.
He's down. He's trying to get up though.
That was a different cow.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him when he come through the fence there at the corral.
What did he do? Go back?
Huh?
He turn around and go back?
He's dead out there, ain't he?
Yeah, he's dead. That's a different coyote.
Yeah, that's a different coyote. Plumb different looking coyote. He dead, he dead.
Well, at least your cameraman got this
See,
one.
I really didn't miss him. See, he was hurt and he made the circle and he come back up here because he wanted to die. I'll get some more shells for him. Keep blowing.
I'm laughing too much. I can't hold the camera still.
But I mean, this is what makes predator hunting so amazing. We went and did everything like we supposed to this morning. Set up. We set up. We used an electronic call. We used the decoy. We done all this. We drove up here and we looked at this spot. I told Prowler, I said, they ain't no needing us hunting here because the wind is wrong. The wind's blowing right straight to everything out there. So we're just standing here talking about it, and I was going to tell Prowler, let's go to the house. So about that time I look up and here comes a coyote going across. So I had to go to the truck, get the gun. I had my mouth call, my wood 60 mouth call, and I grabbed it up and went to blowing on it. The coyote come right straight to us, and he was about, I don't know, 200 yards, and I didn't have a good rest on this fence post, and I missed him. Well, we were sitting there talking about it, and then we realized Prowler didn't have a camera on. So I was going to deny missing that coyote. We're standing here talking, and there's a little old corral out here, and I seen movement go through that little old corral. And I told Prowler, I said, there's another coyote. And he bounced out here, and sure enough, I got him, smoked him. So, we ain't set up. We're standing here by the truck, behind the gate, with the wind blowing right straight to them. And we done called in too. Oh, I love it. Love it.
Love it when a good plan comes together.
Even when you don't have a plan, it still
works. Yeah. Might
want to put put some more bullets in the gun before I keep calling here too much. We can't keep calling.
Everything can be done wrong. We've done it today and it's worked. What we've done right didn't work.
What we done right didn't work. Do we need to go get the tripod? Everything that could be done wrong, we've done it. This morning, in the last 10 minutes. Mike's sitting here blowing on his M60 and done called in 2 coyotes, we know for sure, but the other one he was right downwind from us. Well, we called him in. I think he winded us.
Yeah. Well, the wind's blowing straight from us, straight to him. And as soon as he broke out and opened in there, he turned around and went back in the woods. But the neat thing about it is, we don't have a tripod for a camera. We don't have shooting sticks for a gun. And Max done missed one.
No, I didn't.
We can't prove it because I thought the camera was on record and it wasn't. And we're going to keep sitting here for just a few minutes because we done had another one come out of the woods over here. And if things keep going, we liable to see another one. You can't ever tell. So we're just going to hang around here a minute, not get out of the tripod, not get our shooting sticks. But if the next one comes out, I'm going to shoot it.
That'd make it too right if we did all that.
That'd make it look good. I ain't never. Well, do you want to go out there and get that other cow?
Not yet.
I don't need it. We just sit right here.
This is too good.
3 right here in 5 minutes.
But I think you ought to get the tripod.
Yeah, I need to get it.
I don't think we'll really need it, but we didn't think we was going to do that when we pulled up here.
That's true. And we've just been laughing and talking and carrying on.
But we are Coyote.
Right here, you got him?
I got him on video, but not. You ain't gotta be kidding me. Got him. I don't know how good you can see that because I couldn't zoom in on him because I was shaking. We in a nest up. Man, I think
that was a long shot. It might have been 15 yards.
I think we're gonna quit using electronic calls and go back to mouth calls.
Isn't that the truth? He came up here to check us out.
I don't know how good you can see that because I couldn't zoom in, but I had it on him. And he's laying.
He's probably 30 yards from us.
On the wrong button. That's why it wouldn't zoom. Where's he at? Oh, he's right. Where is he?
He's laying there.
I know. Don't go out there.
I got to get some more bullets.
What got us started using the mouth call was we saw a coyote going across the pasture when we pulled up here. And I went to blowing on the mouth call and got him to turn around and came back to us. And then I thought I hit him, but we decided I missed. But then when Prowler went out there to get one of these coyotes that I killed later, well, he saw him laying down out there. He was facing me. And my cameraman didn't turn the camera on. But anyway, the dog was facing me at about 200 yards, and I hit a little bit hard to the side. And I hit him in the shoulder, and he kind of got away from us. And I'm not going to admit that I missed him, and I didn't miss him.
You did miss him.
but we didn't get that on camera, but we did get these two on camera. Definitely.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the one that we had saw. There's a little over, and we're sitting there talking, and I looked up, and they were one standing in 40 yards from us, standing there looking at us. Well, Prowler had to get up. There's so much brush and a fence row. He had to get up and walk down the gate line there 10 yards to even be able to see him to get a shot. And so then he killed him. And then
Got 2 male dogs here, and they're last year's pups. They're just now getting into their own, but that just goes to show you, you never know when these things are going to pop out. We think we learn and know it all, and then Mother Nature proves us wrong again.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and we've got all this great stuff, and it is good stuff. We got the game track, game call, and which the camo worked good because
they never
like
saw
the one that come in here at 25, 30 yards from us. That coyote looked right at us and said, I think he saw the truck more than he did anything because we're standing in front of the truck.
About 3 feet from the truck.
Yeah, but he didn't run. It was like, you know, he didn't know what he saw, and he was just kind of, he knew what he heard, but he didn't know what he saw. And he was still going to check it out, and he might have, if we hadn't got him, he might have circled around to try to get downwind from us.
Yeah.
To try to figure out what it was, but he didn't make it that far.
No, I hope we got him on film, but there's so much brush, I don't know if you can see it or not. We'll show it to you what we got.
We got our gun huggy on our rifle this morning. That's pretty neat. I think that's actually the first 2 kills we've got
with the
gun huggy on our gun. It sure is.
But that's an amazing piece of equipment. That's an accessory to your gun that you've got to have. If you treasure your gun any at all, that's what you need. It protects your gun. It camos it. Of course, this one is black. They got it in camo too, but it also deadens the sound.
Yeah, this is on a synthetic stock gun, and they're loud if you bump them on something. But this gun huggy, it takes that sound out.
Need to do some shopping for some double tap ammo to drop that bull of a lifetime? Joker's Wild Outdoors has you covered. Need some new Vortex optics? Definitely check us out at jokerswildoutdoors.com. Or maybe you need a new Alps pack to pack out that bull of a lifetime that you just harvested with your bow. Early season? Need some trail cameras? Joker's Wild Outdoors has you covered. For all your online shopping needs, go to jokerswildoutdoors.com and pick something up today.
What's the matter with my little pistol? My pink pistol.
We don't know, but we're gonna find out. Well, what's wrong with it is it's either dirty or something because it's not. And it's every time. So what we're fixing to do is we're fixing to take this new Wonder Oil we got and we're going to clean it up with that Wonder Oil.
What's it called?
I don't know.
We got to find the name out.
We got to find the name out. Let's see. Q40 or Q, let me go see. We've been shooting Prowler's little pink pistol here, and he done put some kind of oil on it, and what he's done, I think, is he got it to where it's not shooting. It will not take in another shell. So, it's done it again. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take it in there and we're going to clean it up with our new Wonder product, Q20 Blue. And we'll see what happens after we clean it. I don't know, I can tear it down or I can just spray some in there, whatever you want to do.
Spray it in there for right now. Let's see what it does.
Needs tearing down. Hope it don't melt it. We've cleaned it up with the blue, and we're going to see what it does. Worked like a charm.
Joker's Wild Outdoors and M2D Camo Properties are your premier Western big game outfitter. Specializing in elk, deer, antelope, moose, bears, and even those stupid turkeys. If you're looking for a hair-raising great time, give us a call and book your next hunt with Joker's Wild Outdoors.
Hi there, I'm Dustin Warncke. Welcome to this exciting edition of Gun Tales. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, and that is purchasing a used gun. Now in this case we're going to talk about rifles, but the same concept exists for rifles, shotguns, pistols, and any other sporting arms like that. We're going to talk today about a couple of things to look for and warning signs to look for as well when purchasing a new gun. Now, before we get started, a couple of little quick tidbits here. You've got Scope Coat that's covering our scope today, and then you also have a high score black rifle rest that is holding our gun up today. So I wanted to plug those two sponsors. They are fantastic products. Check both of those out on our website. Now, what I have in front of me here is a Belgium Mauser, FN Belgium Mauser, Colombian contract. The action and everything has been completely sporterized to become what it is today, and it's a 270 Winchester. And it shoots a fantastic 150 or 130 grain bullet attack driver. I bought this at a pawn shop about a year and a half ago or so, almost 2 years ago actually, and purchased this gun in trade for a Yugoslavian Mauser that I had. All I'd done was put a scout scope on the top of the receiver and didn't do anything else to it. It had gone up in value. I had actually bought the gun for $100 and it had just appreciated in value, which is one thing that can happen with some used guns. Used guns typically hold their value fairly well though, for sure, and are a fantastic investment to pass down from generation to generation. The thing I'm going to talk about today is making sure you buy a gun that's going to last the generations and what to look for and some warning signs to look after as well. But this particular gun is a tack driver. It has a barrel that's been rechambered and sporterized on top of it, so it's not an original Mauser barrel. This has actually been done by a company by the name of Roberts Firearms out of Indiana. I did a little bit of research when I purchased this gun because it was such a fantastic deal. The gun, scope, and everything I got from the pawn shop was valued and retailed about $250 or $300, and that's a fantastic deal to get both. You can buy a new gun for that in some cases, but you can certainly pay a whole lot more for a rifle as well. So these represent a good example of a good rifle to buy. So let's talk about some of the things. I redid this stock. I also reblued this barrel. Other than that, I also redid the barrel channel in here as well to free float the barrel from the stock, and we'll talk about what to look for there. And just cleaned it and really took good care of it because it had been taken care of fairly well. A little bit of neglect from the previous owner, but I certainly ended up with a good deal. Let's talk about one of the first things to look over, the initial stock of the gun. Okay, you're either going to deal with a synthetic or a wood stock in most cases with a rifle. And in this particular case, this stock was a Boyd's or some kind of an aftermarket Mauser stock, and they normally run about $100 to $150 used. Or new to get a Mauser stock. So this one had a little bit of damage to it, but I didn't take that to account and did not have any major splitting in it. That's the main thing I'm looking for when I'm looking at a gun like this. I don't want to have any kind of splits in the forearm or the buttstock or any of that issues, any of those kind of issues. You're going to have some major issues if you have a broken stock, and that's going to need to come into play when it comes to talking about the final price for the gun. The next thing I look for is the crown of the rifle. The crown is the very tip of the muzzle, and the best way to inspect that is to look right at it, but obviously you want to make sure that you open up the action and check. Even I stick my little pinky finger in here to make sure there's nothing in the chamber. Look at the crown. The crown needs to be shiny. It needs to be free of any pitting or anything else. If the crown is excessively oiled, you've got a problem most likely. You need to clean that oil off, just like if your barrel is excessively oiled. That's a telltale warning sign that something is being hidden from you. So clean that barrel, clean that crown out. If you didn't bring one with you, having a one-piece cleaning rod at your disposal is a good idea. It's kind of cumbersome to carry around a little bit though. So in that case, I even carry around with me one of these little bore snakes. You can get these in several different varieties of calibers. They are my choice for cleaning rifles these days and shotguns. And carry one around in your pocket and just take that out, clean out the barrel. Make sure you're looking at clean and dry when you're assessing the quality of that barrel. Now, The next thing we're going to be looking for is going to be the barreling and the rifling itself. This barrel had a little bit of surface rust, nothing that's really going to be a deal breaker though. I went ahead and just took care of looking at just seeing how deep that rust was, and it wasn't that deep. I took a little bit of quadruple-aught steel wool, took that off, and cold blued the barrel here at home. It came out pretty decent for my first try of cold bluing something, so that worked out well. But major surface rust, again, if the parts, kind of like a used car, if the parts on the outside look really bad, the parts you can't see, such as in a semi-automatic gun and so on and so forth, are probably going to be problematic and dirty as well. Another thing to look after is to take a flashlight. I've just brought a flashlight. You can get a bore light. That's probably a little bit better for this, and you can buy bore lights at gun stores and gun shows all over the place. And with the barrel, making sure that the chamber and everything's unloaded, shine this down there. If you have a bolt action, you can look straight through and just shine the barrel in this part of the in the muzzle part of the gun. But otherwise, you can shine into the barrel and look down the muzzle to see what kind of rifling you have. And again, making sure everything's clean and dry in that regard. You need to make sure that you have a shiny bore and not a dark bore or frosted bore. Dark and frosted bore is a good sign of rust and good sign of corrosion. Now I say this with the exception of military guns. I own a couple of Mosey Nagants that had been rode hard and put up wet during the 30s and 40s during World War II. So something to be in consideration there is that they were all arsenally refurbished, and that's a consideration I had to make in those regards for those particular guns. So it wasn't that big of a deal. But you want to make sure that, and especially in a commercial gun that's post-World War II, that you've got good, shiny-looking, crisp lands and grooves, and it's not been shot out. That's an obvious thing, especially for a shotgun or a rifle, or a pistol, really, for that matter, as well. So, crown, barrel, inside and outside. Then we're going down to actually check how the stock and the barrel meet up. There's either a glass bedded, it's either affixed to that barrel, especially a lot of semi-automatic actions are going to be like that, or you're going to have a free-floated or glass-bedded barrel. Now, this particular gun's free-floated. I know because I did the free-floating myself. If the gun is represented as being free-floated, then that's again going to impair the accuracy of it, good or bad. You're going to have a good way to test that, and that's with a dollar bill I brought. You should be paying cash for a firearm anyway, so I just brought a dollar bill to show you. You're going to want to slide that all the way to the action and move it back and forth. You should have no hang-ups anywhere. If you do, you probably have a problem in that regard. So make sure that you check that out, see if that's an issue. And if it's not an issue, it is as sold and or it is as advertised, you're in good shape. So that's another thing. If it's glass bedded, you're not going to be able to do that, obviously. Or if it's bedded to the stock, it's going to be kind of glued on there. Glue is probably not the right word, but it's going to be attached to the stock. Can't really do that. I have a semi-automatic that I can't do that with. It's okay, okay? You just want to check in those cases to make sure that you don't have any major inletting issues, any kind of major bulges, or where the stock is unevenly connected to the barrel in those cases. And just overall, you want to make sure you don't have any major bulges. Now that may sound really trivial, but I have run into rifles that literally have bulging inside the barrel, and people just pass it off as, oh, it should still shoot fine. No, it's not going to shoot fine in that regard. Another thing is to check, even with your flashlight still, if you cannot remove the bolt, check into looking at the bolt face, especially in a semi-automatic or lever action gun. This is a bolt action with a Mauser. It has a little clip. I can just remove the bolt like that and show it to you. It's clean. You want to check that the firing hole is not overly large. It shouldn't be. It should not be dirty or full of corrosion. If so, clean it and inspect it the best that you can. Your bolt should also not be over greased. That's also another sign that there might be a problem somewhere, okay? That's just a good way to look at it. The lug should not be worn down, and those are just, you know, this is a Mauser, so this is definitely a typical gun that you might run into in the firearms market, but not every bolt's going to be the same. So this particular sporterization on this gun was done well. The bolt was bent down. Initially it was a straight bolt, bent down. The safety was accommodating for this gun, so those are all good things to look for. If you have any pitting on the bolt face, just like pitting inside the crown or pitting inside the rifle barrel, you're going to have some accuracy issues or potential accuracy issues. It doesn't always mean that you're going to have accuracy issues, but sometimes it does. So that's a good consideration to make there. I'm putting that back inside there. Also, you can just check and see how the action is bedded to the stock as well. You want to make sure that this particular gun, I noticed, had pitting between the stock and the action, and that's just the lower part of the action. That's just due to wear and tear from the gun's previous life as a military gun. Not necessarily a bad accuracy effector, but just something to keep in consideration. Another thing is to get a set of dummy rounds for the rifle that you want, and a set of headspace gauges, if you can, if you're able to get a set of those, if you know what caliber you're shopping for. If I'm shopping for a 270, that's a no-brainer, okay? I just get a set of headspace gauges, especially for a bolt-action rifle. If you don't know what headspace is, guns post-World War II don't have as many headspace problems, but still not a bad idea to see if you have any headspace issues. And if you don't know what I mean by that, look that up. That's very important, especially in bolt-action guns. But in the case of test firing the gun, which you can't obviously do in a gun store or in a gun show, you want to see if you can dry fire it, but I would recommend getting you a dummy round, which is obviously not a live round of ammunition, and put that in there, pull the trigger, and see how the trigger pull is. This particular gun has a little bit harder trigger pull than I liked, and I went ahead and got a trigger job done. I had some work done with the gunsmith there, but all the other work I did myself, such as the cold bluing, redoing the stock, and just cleaning it up in that regard. So it's really a lot of fun to play around with these old guns, and this is a good specimen of what to look for in buying a used rifle. So your trigger, your action, your stock, your overall barrel and crown are all important accuracy considerations to make, because you do not want a gun that's going to be a tomato steak, and that's the joke in buying an old gun that does not shoot well. It's hard to get rid of when accuracy, especially in a rifle, is not made a primary consideration. Another thing to check, as I said, the main wood stock you want to make sure is not split or warped in any way, shape, or form. You want to check it throughout, and I don't remember if I mentioned this or not. You want to check to see if this stock and this wood is sealed. It should not have any serious dark spots in it, and that's such as wood. It gets these dark spots in it from being over-oiled. And synthetic stocks, a lot of people think are impenetrable to the elements, and in a way they are. But in another way, a consideration to make is that your synthetic stock may be warped. And the best way to check that is to shoulder the rifle. And if it goes to your point of aim immediately and it's not canting to the left or the right on the forearm area, you probably have a good stock in that regard. But synthetic stocks especially are not cheap to replace in these commercial rifles or these Mausers especially. So you want to make sure you've got a good stock, because that stock contacting your barrel is going to affect your accuracy of whether or not it's free-floated or not. So good, bad, or otherwise. That's a consideration to make for sure. So for this segment of Gun Tales, this is Dustin Warncke. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Good luck in purchasing your next rifle. I have a whole bunch of them. As a matter of fact, they're a blast to shoot and collect. So have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching us today.
Why can't you just use the door?
Grim Reaper broadheads. Watch them drop.